Thanks so much for sitting down to talk to us today about the Resident Satisfaction Survey. Get us started briefly about why the city even does this kind of survey every 2 years.
The city has been conducting a resident satisfaction survey every couple of years, and we do it for a couple of reasons. One, and principally because we really care about what citizens and residents think about our community, about how the city services are provided, but also it gives us some benchmark and some baseline data to compare how well we are improving our organization to meet the needs of the residents.
I know we gather a lot of information, but essentially what do you do with this information once you get it?
Well, we take it very seriously, the information we get. We analyze the data. We compare, again, how well we've improved or some areas that need improvement that maybe we haven't progressed as much as we thought we would. But also we really learn from the residents what their priorities are. In the case of where they think their tax dollars should be spent, where they think improvements need to be made. And it really helps us to understand also from the entire community, because many times we only hear from a few individuals about what they think about city services or city government. This gives us a way to, in a very statistically valid, if you could say so, way of really knowing that what the entire community is thinking.
Well, tell me then, what was the most surprising thing for you from this year's survey?
Well, I don't know that I'd say anything really surprised me because I think so much of what we're doing, think so much of our organization. But certainly what was very pleasing was that we have continued to make remarkably great progress and strides in so many areas. Citizens and residents across the board gave us very good marks in terms of the city is going in the right direction, moving in the right direction. And quite frankly, in this time and age, cities across the country and as a result of the economy are really struggling. And so what really pleased me was learning that we had made so much progress when comparable cities around the country have actually had their marks and their perspectives of citizens go down.
That certainly must have been pretty good news for us. Huh?
Very, very pleasing.
Yeah. Tom, I know there were some specific areas that got really, really high marks from residents. Talk about those a little bit for me.
Well, I think the highest marks, as I recall, was actually in fire and emergency services. We were very pleased about that. Parks and recreation rated very highly in the survey. Greenways, our open space and trails was very positive as well. Citizens liked our solid waste collection services, many of those kinds of things. Those were some of the highest ones. One of the ones that made me the happiest was how citizens viewed our employees and how they felt that our employees were extremely courteous, responsive to their needs, and that's something we really are striving hard to improve.
What do you attribute that to?
Our employees, we have great employees, and quite frankly, we make a conscious decision in this organization for excellence, for quality of service. Our campaign around culture of service to the community is really important, and I think it's a signal that is starting to take hold by the results of the survey.
Okay, I know an area of concern has been the perception of safety, and we've really monitored that over the past few years. What did the survey reveal in this area this time?
Well, that's another area that we were really pleased, because the survey told us that the majority of citizens and residents in our community do feel safe. They feel safe in their neighborhood. They feel safe in city parks. They feel safe walking streets. They feel safe in downtown. It was pretty much across the board. Now, is it where we want it to be? No, we're going to continue to seek to improve that area. In fact, one of the things that the residents told us is this is safety, and public safety continues to be one of their highest priorities. And so while we have made tremendous progress in the perceptions of feeling of safety on the part of the residents, we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to move forward and try to enhance that even more. But it was great results.
Good. I can tell you're happy with that. Tom, it sounds like Durham has made some really nice strides in the areas that we've really focused on. But I know that there are some areas that residents felt further attention needed to be paid to. Can you give us a little information about those areas?
Well, there were three main areas that kind of separated themselves from the others in terms of where citizens want us to continue to pay attention. At the top of the list was the roads and the condition of our roads and paving. Second was the public safety and police kinds of services. And third one was one that I didn't quite expect to be at that high on the list, but it had to do with traffic congestion. And so that's one that we're going to take a closer look at.
What do you think the traffic congestion really points to?
Well, I don't really know. I think that for the most part, Durham does enjoy a fairly positive traffic environment. But I think that most people who are in their cars a lot, it's just a personal inconvenience for people to get where they want to get to on time, or any number of things. And quite frankly, our community is growing, and with that growth comes more automobiles on the road. And particularly for people who maybe have been here a while, they just see more vehicles and more cars. It takes a little bit longer to get through intersections, and it pops out as something that they'd like to see us address.
Kind of like a double-edged sword, huh? Not necessarily a bad thing, even though it's residents kind of see it.
And quite frankly, for those of us who have come from other places, I'd like to personally remind people in Durham that traffic conditions here are really very good compared to many other places. So we're just not quite what we're used to.
Well, looking at all those things together, how does the city plan to address those areas?
Well, certainly in the area of paving and street resurfacing, thanks to the citizens' approval of the bond referendum a year or so ago, we've made tremendous strides with phase one of the paving last year. We'll complete all of the paving in this upcoming paving season, so that we'll hopefully be able to say that there are no city streets in Durham that are in poor or very poor condition. So we're going to continue to do that. We also have made the commitment that we will be placing additional funding in our operating budget so that we don't fall behind in the paving area. As it relates to public safety, we are continuing to provide resources to the police department. The coordination between the police department, the sheriff's office, and the judicial system, I think, is as good as it's been in quite some time. We are working together. We really realize the concerns that some citizens may have about safety, and we are preparing to address that. As it relates to the last issue I talked about with traffic congestion, I think that's one that there's a couple of pieces to that. Certainly the city has made transit a very high priority. We have seen the approval of the transit referendum. We are working very closely with the North Carolina Department of Transportation and with TTA to really figure out how we can improve not just the automobile viability on our roadways with proper planning, proper construction, but also improving transit both with the bus system and hopefully at some point in the future the light rail system.
Now, I know one interesting tidbit about the survey is, and actually nobody likes to pay taxes, but people don't feel like they're getting a good value for their tax dollars. What do you think about that?
Well, the survey, I think we asked that question, do you feel like you're getting a good value for your tax dollar? And I believe it was around 40% of the respondents, something in that area, said that they did. So I think you have to put that in context. While we would like that to be a higher number, that actually is maybe just at average or just a little bit above the norm of what cities across the country, you would expect a very similar response. So I don't think our area, our results in that area are anything dramatically different. And I do think that you have to keep the economy in the context of all those discussions, that we recognize that there has been a significant challenge for many, many families in our community over the last several years as the economy has struggled, and people are very concerned. But I believe that based on the results of the survey, that the city government of Durham is really building a positive, what they call brand equity with the community. That the residents are seeing the city moving in the right direction. They're seeing many positive enhancements to the community. So I'm optimistic that the next time we take the survey, more residents who respond, we'll boost our numbers there even more, and people will feel even more that the tax dollars that they are providing are being well spent.
Okay, all right. Now, in a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Shelley Green from the Durham Convention and Visitors Bureau, and she monitors what visitors think about Durham, and they do a survey every couple of years as well. Why should we want to get information about our resident satisfaction survey to visitors?
Well, I mean, I think it's important anytime that people visit a community, whether it's us visiting another community or visitors coming to Durham, that you want to know that you know what the conditions are there. That you want to know what the people who live there think about that community. It certainly is going to contribute to your decision as to whether you're going to come back. Probably, maybe even whether you want to go there to begin with. You know, we spend a lot of time on social media and the internet, you know, communicating about Durham, and so as folks are thinking about Durham, hearing about Durham, maybe it's coming to visit, maybe it's coming to a show at the Durham Performing Arts Center, or coming to stay at one of the hotels in our community, coming to one of the universities, they're going to check us out. And I think to the extent that they know our residents, how our residents feel about our community, whether it's safety, whether it's, you know, the conditions of roads, whatever, you know, the more likely they're going to have to be looking for a positive experience when they get here.
Tom, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with us about the Citizen Satisfaction Survey?
Well, I would just say that, you know, I think if you look at the strides that this community has made since we began taking the survey in 2006, I think the numbers are maybe 18 or 20% improvement in just those 6 years. That in of itself is absolutely remarkable. But then in the context of what we're seeing across the country, and I think it's fair to point out the consultant that we used is not from Durham, not a Durhamite. You know, he's an independent folk who does this kind of work all over the country. And the communication was that they haven't seen another city make as much progress as the city of Durham has made in a 6-year period. So I think that's the point I would want to hit home. You know, we're pleased that the residents think we're making progress, and we're pleased with the progress we're making, but we're not going to stop here. We're going to continue.
I know that we listen to citizens all the time. In fact, the survey is just one way that we listen to citizens, and I think a lot of people are always impressed about the other ways, you know, our coffees with council, neighborhood college, but we're constantly listening to what our residents are telling us.
Absolutely. I mean, Durham prides itself in being a connected community, an active community, and we are so fortunate to have citizens who care, who want to participate, but at the same time, we're going to continue to look for every opportunity we can to reach out to our residents, find out what's on their minds, hear their concerns, and certainly in 2 more years, we'll be back again with another resident survey to see how well we're doing.
Great. Tom, thank you so much for joining me to
My
talk
pleasure.
about such an interesting topic, I think, for a lot of residents.
Thank you.
If you'd like to see the complete results of the Resident Satisfaction Survey, simply visit the city's website, go to the Budget and Management Services Department, and then follow the links. We're going to take a quick break.